Hey everybody, and welcome to a Cricut craft tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to set up your brand new Cricut machine. They'll all be set up pretty much the same way, but we're going to use my brand new Cricut Maker to set up the machine. It's super easy, really fun, and I hope that you guys are as excited as I am to get started with your new Cricut. Make sure you hit that big red subscribe button down below. I'd love to have you as part of my crafty family here on YouTube. And I would love to take your Cricut journey with you. So today's video, we're going to again unbox this guy and show you guys how easy this is to set up. So when you get your Cricut machine, it will come in a box. I do recommend keeping your box and the packaging in your box if you have the storage space for it. That way, if you ever need to move or take your Cricut anywhere on a long distance, this is a great way to do it. It's well packaged and it has a little handle, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. Now your Cricut is going to come with a couple of things. You're going to receive, depending on your Cricut, you'll get the regular fine point blade, as well as a pen and a mat. But with the Maker, you also receive the rotary tool. So keep that in mind. You do pretty much get everything to at least do one project as well. They include a little set of projects. So you'll find this box. It says Get Started. So let's go ahead and open that up. And you'll find in this little box that you get a little packet that says Open Me First. So we'll go ahead and follow directions, I guess. So we'll pull that out, and what it does is it just tells you, it's a couple little flashcards that tell you different steps. So number one is Unleash This Beauty, and it says plug in and power on your fabulous new Cricut machine. Then we have number two, Get Connected. Number two says just go to cricut.com/setup and we'll walk you through every step. And don't worry, I'll walk you through every step. Number three is Make a Little Something. During setup, we'll make a practice project with materials in the box. Fun! And number four is bookmark this page. This cricut.com/create, you'll find every resource you need to master your new machine. Enjoy. I have to say, I have been to that website and I don't love the way that they explain things. I find it just to be a little bit confusing for newbies. And I do highly recommend that you find a teacher that you really understand, that explains things the way that you like to have things explained to you. Not every teacher is created equal, so you may find somebody that is great for you, and you may find others that just are not your style. So then we have materials for our first project in this really cool black envelope. Go ahead and open that. You're going to get a couple of things in here. You will receive a piece of fabric, piece of cardstock, and then a longer piece of cardstock. Those are all for your first project, which is how you will start to use your Cricut. The next thing that you'll find is the welcome book. And while this is relatively thick, it's not a user manual. It just tells you some of the general things about your Cricut. Your Cricut will not contain any kind of a user manual. That stuff is all online. It helps reduce the amount of packaging and products that they have to put in their box, but also you can find so much free information on YouTube that I highly recommend checking that out. You will also receive your rotary blade. So this is the rotary blade from Cricut. You get this with your Maker. This is the rotary blade. This is not the scoring wheel. A lot of people get them confused. I do recommend, unless you have some sort of a blade storage device, that you do keep the plastic that this came in to keep your blade stored. That way you don't cut yourself or damage anything else. Now, under the plastic here in the box, you're going to find a few more items. You're going to find the cover for your rotary blade. This is great, again, if you have tool storage, but I keep mine in a little storage container. I have this one from Cricut and I love it. I'll link it down below for you guys. And then you'll also receive a Cricut pen in black, and you will have your USB connector for your computer in here, as well as your warranty information. This is the other reason I really do recommend keeping your box. That way, if you do ever need to deal with the warranty or anything like that, you've got the box right here. You can easily package it right back up. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of this stuff back in here, just in that box. And then next what we get to do is pull out our Cricut machine. Now this might be a little awkward on camera because it is a little awkward to get it out of the box. You'll get these two big styrofoamy carriers, again, I do recommend keeping all of the packaging. It's just a great way to keep your machine nice and clean. Now, your machine is going to come in one of these little poly bags. These are great. They're foamy. I keep mine, again, to keep it from getting scratched. I've already opened this machine. I received this a while ago, and I just wanted to open it to make sure everything was in there, but yours will come in the bag. So next, you're going to go ahead and pull your machine out. When pulling your machine out, you want to make sure you have a good firm grip on it. You don't just rip it out. So I'm going to set this over to the side because I'll pull the stuff out from under it, and then we'll move the box. So then there's a few things under your Cricut machine. So you want to make sure you get rid of the poly beads. Again, recommend keeping these in the box. You'll also receive under here your power cord. This is super important. This power cord is the same cord that works for both your Explorer and your Maker. The only one that this doesn't work with is the Joy. The Joy has all different materials, and then you have some more packaging down there in the bottom. So again, I do recommend keeping all the packaging. I like to put mine right back in the box. That way I don't lose anything, and if I ever need to, it's going to be really easy to move with my Cricut machines. I've kept the boxes for all of them, and I'm really glad that I did. So let me get this moved out of the way really quick. We'll just tuck this down here. And now we have our Maker, and I'll turn this so you guys can see it. Now this one is the lilac purple color. It's pretty. And it's really nice. These are really nice machines. They're super easy to use too. So here's the top. And with this one, the bottom flat should come down when you open the top. Now, I will say it has been a known problem that does not continue to work forever. My older machine does not do that anymore. The bottom doesn't come open anymore on its own. I have to pull it down, and the top lid has something going on with it as well, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So now you'll see that you do have your Cricut Maker. Now typically there is a piece of foam right here to hold this in, but again, I took that out just so that I could make sure everything was there. Now what you'll see here is you have your blade housing. You'll want to check your blade housing and make sure that your blade is properly installed. But you'll have two sides. One side is sharp and the other side is dull. Occasionally you'll get one that has the incorrect side of the blade down. You can go ahead and reinstall that once you've double checked that. And then I'm just going to double check my side A clamp here and just make sure everything looks good. Again, I've already inspected my machine, but I do recommend before you open and really use your machine that you give it a good inspection just to make sure that everything looks good, nothing looks out of place, and nothing looks damaged. So then I am just going to check in my little drawer here just to make sure that everything looks good. If you didn't know, your machine does have this really fun storage down here. It's great for your blades and your pens and things like that, or candy. There's a lot of fun ways to use that little drawer. And then you do have some storage over here on the side. This is great, again, for your tools and blades and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up once more, and then we'll go ahead and get the plug ready. So I'm going to turn this to the back so that you guys can see a little bit better. So with your Maker, you have two plugs back here in the back. They're actually on this side. Sorry, I was on the wrong side, but you have two plugs here, and each plug is going to do something different. This one right here is your power. So this is where your power cord will go in, and then this one here is to connect to your computer if you don't use Bluetooth. I use Bluetooth a lot, so I don't tend to use that cord, but you don't have to. You can absolutely plug it directly into your USB port on your computer. Another cool thing that the Maker has is a USB port here on the side. This USB port is great for charging your phone or your iPad, things like that, so it's a little handy extra port that you can use. Now on the inside of your machine as well, you have a really cool little place right here. There's a little divot. This divot is great to put your iPad in, but I will say that if your iPad is in a case, it doesn't really fit that great. So keep that in mind, but this is a really great little tool, and again, you can charge it directly through the port on this side of your machine. Now keep in mind, however, that all it does is charge. It doesn't actually connect or anything. It's just a nice charger, but it's super easy to use. So what we'll do now is we're going to get this all plugged in. I'll do that off camera. It's real easy. You just plug it into your Cricut and then your wall plug. And then I'm going to take you over into the machine. I've already downloaded Design Space, but all you need to go do is just go to cricut.com/design space, and it will take you right to where you need to go to download their program. But I'm going to show you guys how to do a brand new machine setup. So to start your maker setup, you'll download the Design Space application from design.cricut.com, and once you've done that, you're pretty much ready to go. But I like to use mine with Bluetooth, so what you'll do is go to your computer's Bluetooth settings, and you're going to click Add Bluetooth or Other Device, and then it's going to ask you what you want to add. This is going to be a Bluetooth device, and then it's going to discover every device around you that is Bluetooth and has it on. So in this case, we're looking for the maker, and each one will have a different number after it, so don't worry that yours doesn't say D729. Go ahead and click on that, and it's going to ask you for a pin. Your pin is always going to be 0000. That's just the way Cricut has it set up, so just remember 0000. Click Connect, and it's going to go ahead and tell you your device is ready to go. Click Done. Then you can go back over to your Cricut Design Space and click the 3 little lines down here on the side. Go to New Machine Setup, and it's going to ask us which type of machine we would like to set up. We're going to set up a smart cutting machine, and then it's going to give us our 3 options. So make sure you select whichever device you are using. So whether you're using an Explorer, a Joy, or a Maker. In this case, we're doing the Maker. It's going to tell us to keep 10 inches away from the space behind our machine. This is really important because the mat does slide through the back of the machine, so just make sure you're aware of that. Go ahead and just click over, and it's going to tell you to plug your Maker into the wall outlet and power it on. So we'll make sure that our machine is powered on and it's well plugged in. Go ahead and click over. Now it's going to give us a couple options. We can either connect it via the USB cord or you can connect it via Bluetooth. For the setup, I do prefer to use the USB cord. It's a lot more reliable, and once you've set it up and gone through the initial setup, you can just connect it via Bluetooth all the time. So go ahead and click Continue down at the bottom. It's going to go ahead and make sure that our Maker is updated with the latest features. So basically it's just doing a firmware update. We're good to go. Ours is up to date. So go ahead and click Next. It's going to ask us to add the Maker to our Cricut ID. That's fine. No big deal. Exactly what we want to do. And then it's going to ask us to agree to their terms of service and privacy policy. You feel free to read those. You just click on the word if you'd like to read them. Go ahead and click Register. Now it's going to tell us success. Our Maker is registered and set up. Click Next. Now it's going to tell us that it's time to do a test cut. So they have changed this a bit since they initially sent some of the Cricut devices. You now use the initial setup to make just a quick decal. You don't actually use the card stock and the paper. They used to have you do a little cardstock card. So you can just select any of these designs that you want. We'll just use the flower and click Next. Now it's going to tell us to place the small cardstock on the top left corner of the mat. We'll go over to the machine and do all of this, but I wanted to just go through the initial setup with you guys. And then it's going to tell us to confirm that the blade is set in place in clamp B, which we already checked because I do recommend always checking that when you take it out of the box. Then it's going to have us make sure that we push our mat up under the guides toward the roller. I'll show you exactly where those guides are and what they look like. Then it wants us to press the flashing load, unload button on the machine. So it tells us everything that we need to do. So what we're going to go do is go over to the machine and do all of those steps. I'm going to give you guys a few other tips and tricks to loading your mat because I don't think they give great directions. So we're ready to put our material on our mat. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is you do receive a mat in the box. I stole that mat when I got this because it tends to bend if you leave it in the box for too long. So I'm just using an off-brand mat, but you'll get a blue Cricut brand mat when you get your machine. So the first thing you want to do is take off the plastic cover. Do not throw the plastic cover away. You want to keep that because we'll keep it to keep our mat clean. Then what we're going to do is take our piece of cardstock and line it up with the upper left-hand corner over here. And you just want to line it up and lay it down. You want to make sure that it's well on there. You can see upper left-hand corner lined up. And then when you go to load your mat, what you want to do is you can see that my hand is on the end of the mat here. you can see that we're under these little white tabs. There's two. There's one on each side, so you want to make sure you're under those. And when you press the load button, which is the flashing arrows, you want to give your mat a little bit of pressure from behind. They don't explain that very well in the tutorial, so I just want you guys to know a little bit of pressure from the back of your mat is required. Now that it's ready, your little Cricut icon, so the little C with the little antenna, will flash, and you're going to go ahead and click that. Then what it's going to do, because this is a maker, is take the tool carriage all the way over to the side, and what that's doing is it's making sure that the right tool is in the carrier. If it's not, it will start all over again. It's one of the things that the maker does that makes it super smart. So now what it's going to do is go ahead and cut out our flower. Once it's done cutting, it'll push the mat back out a little bit, and what you want to do is press the flashing arrow. That's going to unload your mat. Simple as that, you've unloaded your mat. It's really, really simple. And now you can see that our flower has cut. So what we can do is go ahead and take our paper off the mat, and we will have a fun little paper flower. And you can see that we're just peeling it right off the mat. Now, because this is a little bit of a thicker cardstock, some of the little pieces don't always come out right away, but you just can pop them right out and they come off. They just like to stick a little bit, but that's okay. Once you've gotten those out, there you go. There's your flower all done. Isn't that cool? So let's go back over to the computer and see what Cricut Design Space has to say. Now that you've done that, it's just telling you to go ahead and remove your cut image from the mat. And you can learn much more about your Cricut Maker at cricut.com/more. There's so much that you can do, and don't worry, don't be intimidated. You will absolutely get this, I promise. So what you can do now is just click Start Designing. I'm going to link below for you guys a beginner's guide to Cricut. It's all of the videos that I feel like are great for beginners, really easy projects to do, nothing that involves anything too crazy and too many steps. That way you guys can get started and really be successful with your Cricut. I hope this Cricut setup video was helpful to you. I hope you've learned a few things. And if you have any questions about this or anything else, craft or Cricut related, please let me know down in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you, and I look forward to you guys making beautiful things with your Cricut. If you make something really cool, be sure that you have joined my Facebook group, linked down below, or you can even tag me over on Instagram. I'm at Corinne_Blackstone Crafts, and I would love to see all of the beautiful things that you make. I'm going to try to feature different makers each week on my Instagram posts, so I hope you guys have a wonderful day and happy crafting.